number 11. Ian's morning rant, actually in the afternoon. We had a little after party here last night. So my band Go Go Riot was jumped in on a cancellation over at Alex's bar. Good show. We were playing with Guttermouth and Narcoleptic Youth. Some good punk bands. Boy, they're fun bands. They've been around for over 20 years, man. That's a long time. Long time to be rocking. Still killing it, though. You know, sometimes when you be an older punk band, you start looking real gray, a little haggard. Nah, everybody looked pretty good. It was a good show. Everybody was fun, real fun crowd. That is a fact. Everything it was over at Alex's bar in Long Beach, which is the best bar venue, in my opinion, in Long Beach and the surrounding areas. You know, as far as rock and roll goes. And the Bloody Marys are fantastic, believe it or not. Some of the best Bloody Marys I've ever had is over at Alex's bar. Everybody's pretty awesome over there. And we opened the show up. I gotta be honest though, the sound guy is a problem. He good at his job, but man, is he looks like the Unabomber. So it was like full mask, shades, hat, and a hood on, trying to work with a band. Be like, hey man, I need 3 mics up front, 1 in the back. And he'll say something. I go, what? What? It's a loud club. I don't know what you're saying under your mask. You're the only one with a mask, happens to be my sound guy, who I have to understand. That's a weird move. It's a weird move. Now, good at his job. I think he did a good job. But that's a silly move. And everything was this. Here's what's interesting. Everything's this to this guy. I go, hey, man, if we start to run a little late, we'll cut a song. You know, we'll make sure we get off on time. We're good. And he'll go, I don't care. Everything was, I don't care. No one wants to hear that, especially when you're about to put on a performance. I don't care. No, we'll fucking care. You should care. Because we care. You know? So, but anyways, that's my little, it's not that big a deal. I'm sure he's a good dude. That was just he's in probably a mood. You know, everybody gets in a mood. And sometimes with sound guys, like I'm with you, working in studios and stuff. You get kind of jaded sometimes, like, if you had a band on that was the night before and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, they're causing problems, they're complaining, blah, 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 blah. But last night's show, you got people that's been doing this for over 20 years on stage. You got people that have been rocking out, sound man, before you even decided to come into this game. You know, like I noticed after Narcoleptic Youth killed, they go on stage and just fucking kill it. Incredible. And you kind of, if you look to me like you started rushing them off stage. Maybe a little respect for these guys that's been killing it for a long time, you know? But anyways, good show. Everybody was cool. I think he was just in one of those moods. It's okay. It happens. You know, so we had a little after party. I guess you can call it a little after party. Some of the friends came back to our place and we had drinks and kind of talked and listened to music and talked music and stuff. It was cool. Now, I guess, do you call that an after party? You know, you call it, what do you call it? Right? You call it maybe a get together, a kickback. Remember we used to call things kickbacks, which a kickback basically meant all dudes. All right. A kickback meant it was going to be all dudes. A party meant it was there was some chicks there. You know, that made a party. There were some chicks. But I guess this was more of a kickback. We just kind of relaxed and had some drinks and goofed off and did that shit till about 5 a.m. And I finally crashed. I was like, look, guys, I'm out. I had to lie down, crash out, you know. And that's cool. Like, hang. Some of my friends crashed out over here. You know, fell asleep on the couch and on the chair, having drunken crash outs. It's always funny what people look like when they crash out like that. They just, you know, bellies hanging out. You're fucking snoring, snoring with people still in the room. Like even my dogs are looking at you like, what the fuck? But yeah, I guess like what's an after party these days? You know, like are they all just kind of kickbacks? It's to kind of keep the drinking and the conversation going, or is it an actual party? You know, you don't go in details with drugs and what's happening at these parties, but what's the party? I guess loud music and bouncing around and just having some fun. You know. So I mean, these days you still got strippers and go-go dancers at these parties. You still got, you know, like you keep the party going. I think it's just a thing to you keep the conversation because you didn't want to end the conversation because you had a good night. We had a good night. It was fun. You know, I mean, I always like playing, but you know, it was fun to hang out and see Guttermouth and Narcoleptic Youth. They were pretty cool, man. They were great. So we took some pictures with Mark from Guttermouth at the end. I think he just wanted to go home. But nice guy. You know, I could tell that dude's a party. You know what I mean? I could tell the guys from Guttermouth are a fucking party. Yeah. Or it's wrong. Like sometimes this is a fact. Sometimes people are a party on stage and off stage they're a bore. I mean, that happens. And it's vice versa. Sometimes they're a bore on stage, but they're a party at the house. You know, it's like I know I don't roll this way, but it's like a different personality. Some people like to be a party on stage and they're a bore off stage. They save it for the stage. Or sometimes now, this happens a lot, guys. I'm going to pull back this, is that a lot of people will bullshit you as far as drinking and drugs and acting like they're a party, but they're really not. They're actually a bore, and it's all bullshit. It's a fact that some guys will even bring up a bottle. It's got apple juice in it. They act like they're chugging whiskey. You poser, you ain't chugging whiskey. The crowd doesn't care that much if you're a drunk or not. Now, if that is a persona, you know, I guess there's a lot of rock stars where that's kind of their persona, is to be this genius who is a mess. But I'm going to let you in on something. Most of these guys that claim, you know, they're a mess and they party all the time and they just crank out these beautiful records because it just comes from their fingertips because they sold their soul. That doesn't exist. These motherfuckers work hard. They work hard. You know? And that was one of the things when I was younger that I saw a video with Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails working with Marilyn Manson in the studio. And to watch these guys work, not only were they incredibly professional and driven about trying to put out the best product possible, they're real smart about it. Very smart. They know the studio. They know what the listener wants. They know what they want. And there's a persona that I'm going to use Manson and Trent Reznor as an example, but they put it out there that they're this antichrist that is the devil that does drugs and sex and debauchery at all turns, and the music just pops out. That's not the case at all. That man works very hard to put out that music. Very hard. And to be that hard, to be able to do that, you can't come in the studio every day fucked up. Doesn't happen. I'm telling you. I've been in the studio business a long time. These dudes come in to work. Now, sure, little drugs, get fucked up, party, but that's when the work's done. You know? So same with actors. Like a good example is Tracy Morgan, right? He's got that persona like he's this crazy individual. Now, I'm not saying he does. A lot of good artists are crazy, and the persona that he doesn't learn lines. This dude learns lines, believe me. And no matter who you are, you're not going to get work if you're difficult. If you're difficult, you're not going to get work. They're not going to keep hiring you. I don't care who you are. Now, if you become difficult, they'll fire your ass. When I say they, it's the people, it's the money people. Ultimately, actors, performers, they got to do their job in order to keep getting hired. So what's doing your job? Not being a pain in the ass. Not knowing your lines, not knowing your job, not knowing your notes, your riffs. You know what I mean? It doesn't exist. So we can keep the persona going that these guys are these beautiful messes. And I'm sure it becomes that. Guys that have overdosed or guys that have died too early. But I believe that comes after the success when the work's been put in. Now, I feel there's kind of a lull that happens with a lot of these guys that when they've put in the work, they've sold triple platinum albums. Where is there to go from there? And I think drugs and leaving reality sometimes is the next step. Sometimes, rather than keep trying to top yourself, which I think is the better move. I'm sorry about my voice. I was on stage last night and I was up very late. But yeah, I mean, that's a fact. People put in work. Now, I'm sure there's one or two out of thousands that maybe have just got that beautiful gift and can get fucked up all day and party all night and still crank out good stuff. But generally, that doesn't exist. It just doesn't. So we can put that to bed right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, and you can tell when you see a performer, you can tell when they didn't put in the work. You can tell. Like I say this all the time, especially say like with rock bands. I don't want to pay money or I don't want to be in a bar or a club or a theater, whatever, to watch you rehearse. No. I want to see a performance. I want to see a show. Give me a show like I saw last night from Narcoleptic Youth in specifically. I felt that was a show. Not a lot of bullshit was going on either, but between professional bands. We don't bullshit a lot. A lot of times if we're chatting between songs, it's on purpose. Setting up a story. I want to take you through a story. And I think all good performers at some point want to do that. But there's nothing worse than when you go see a band, and that's usually some of these bar bands. We're just watching a rehearsal. You know what I mean? How about taking yourself a little serious, guys? Say even if the show is free, people are still spending money at the bar. You don't want to spend money to see garbage or to hear garbage. You want to show something to inspire you, no matter what it is. Like, aren't we all looking to be inspired? Aren't we all usually looking to be inspired? I know I am. I also feel like I'm talking louder and going a little harder on this mic, probably because I'm trying to overcompensate for being slightly hungover. But it's funny. It's almost the hangover starts to leave you. The more and more you talk, the more and more you start to wake up. Isn't that interesting? Like that, a hangover. What is a hangover? A hangover is mostly dehydrated because you've poisoned your body with alcohol. Luckily, that's all I did was beer. I just drank beer last night. But I was inspired. I was honored for one that we were called to fill in. Love that. Love that, especially in my hometown of Long Beach. And I expect we did our job, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what this is about. It's being inspired. And it was I was inspired to see some of my friends come out. That was cool. It was cool to see my boys and girls. It's awesome. You know? And I think that's what it's about ultimately. You know, it is about the art. It is about being inspired and putting out art that you respect yourself. You know, like if we're calling my music art, hopefully I'm playing stuff that I would want to hear. You know, and that's the whole idea. Music I would like to hear. That's what I'm trying to play. Music that inspires me. From the riffs to the grooves to the bass to the drums to the especially lyricals. I love lyricists. I love it. You know, even when there's these simple punk rock licks, some of them are so simple but so great. And we were talking about this last night, is anyone can play a riff, but you can't play it like them. You can't play it the same exact notes, same exact guitar, strings, amp, whatever. It'll still be different because you didn't create it. Now, whether you're copying somebody, which I think a lot of us are a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. I bet you that's true because we all are inspired by something. I mean, we can all say we're originals, but we're inspired by something, you know? And I think it's important to understand that, what you're inspired by. Now, are you ripping them off? That's a problem. But are you inspired by these people, no matter what it is? Like if you're inspired to write music, but you're writing it, you got inspired by, say, your dad or your parent or a painter. You know what I mean? Anything can inspire the art that you have. It's very interesting, though. But yeah, so yeah, man, I think I'm gonna get out of here. And happy Saturday, y'all. I'm gonna work this hangover out. Cheers.